Hello students, hope you are doing well. I am Vikas Munakar, PGT Physics from Kendriya Vidyalaya Lansdowne, and today we are going to study chapter number 9, Ray Optics and Optical Instrument, and this is the lecture number 3. So let's see that what we are going to study in this lecture. In this lecture of Ray Optics and Optical Instruments, we will study about refraction at the spherical surfaces, its introduction, assumptions and sign conventions, refraction through the convex surfaces, and the later part we will study about Lensmaker formula. Initially we will study about spherically refracting surfaces. Refraction, as you are aware, when light goes from one medium to another medium, then it bends from its path due to the change in the speed of the light. Okay, so spherically refracting surface is a part of a sphere which is producing a kind of refraction. It is made of a refracting materials. The refracting surface which is convex towards the mirror medium is called convex surface, and if it is concave, that is called concave surface. Quickly you see this one, left one, this is a convex surface, and the second one is a concave surface. Inner medium is considered denser and the outer medium is relatively layer. Let's understand the basic points. This point P, which divides into two equal parts, that is known as pole, and this is a part of a sphere, and every sphere has a center, so this is known as the center of curvature. Very similarly, for the concave surface, this P is the pole and this C is the center of curvature. So you can see that for a convex surface, the center of curvature is lying here on the right side in this arrangement, and for a concave surface, the center of curvature is lying on the left side in this right one arrangement. The distance between the pole and the center of curvature, that is known as radius of curvature. So we will study about the assumptions that will be taken in setting up the formula to relate the refractive index of the medium, okay, with the radius of curvature in terms of object distance and image distance also. So the assumptions are as follows. Number one, the object is point object. That means the size of the object that should be small. Object is considered as a point object. The second one is the incident ray and the refracted ray, they should make small angle. When they are making a small angle, we later on will take our assumption that sine of the angle and the tan of the angle, that will be equal to the angle. Okay, so we will utilize the assumption. So the incident ray and the refracted ray, they should make small angle. Third one is the aperture, that should be taken small. Okay, the sign conventions which are very common for the mirror also and the lens also, you might have studied in 10th standard. Okay, here the sign conventions are as follows. Number one, the incident ray is taken from the left to the right. All the distances you will measure from the pole of the refracting surface, and the distances that you are taking in the direction of incident ray, you will consider them with positive sign, and against the direction of incident ray, you will consider them with negative sign. Above the principal axis, you will consider them positive, and well below the principal axis, you will consider them negative. So P is the point pole, or you will measure all the distances from the pole. Right side you will take positive, left side you will take negative. Above you will take positive, above you will take positive and below you will take negative. In this way you will apply the sign conventions. Okay, now just I'll use chalk and duster to explain this. Students, we are going to study the refraction at the convex spherical surface. Okay, this is a convex spherical surface. Okay, the refractive index of the outer medium is mu1 and the inner medium is mu2. Considering mu2 to be denser with respect to outer medium. Okay, we need to make a relation in between the refractive index of inner medium, outer medium, okay, object distance, image distance, and the radius of curvature of the spherical surface. So for doing this, we need to put a point object, okay, on the principal axis. Then the image formation will be done. Okay, then with the certain assumptions, okay, we will derive a relation, okay, that we have to do. So the assumptions assumptions that I am talking about, okay, are as follows. Assumptions. First one, the object should be point object. Means object should be small in size. It should be point object. Second one, the aperture of the surface, that should be taken small. That should not be large. And the third one is that the incident ray and the refracted ray, they are making small angles. So when they are making small angles, we will use the approximation. Sin theta is approximately equal to theta, or tan theta is approximately equal to theta. So these approximations we will consider into account. Okay, so we will start the derivation. As I have told you, okay, O be the point object, kept on the principal axis. Okay, so the light ray that is incidenting from O and striking at this surface. Okay, this is the normal we have brought, okay, to the surface, okay, which is passing to the center of curvature. Okay, and it is meeting at this point I. So image is forming at a distance V, okay, from the pole E. Okay, if we take the aperture small, then PM and they will coincide each other. That's why we are considering this into account. Okay, I will the angle of incidence and R will the angle of refraction. Okay, and alpha, beta and gamma these only we have considered. U with object distance, V with angle distance, R with the radius of curvature of the convex spherical surface. So we need to make a connection in between alpha, beta, gamma, I and R. Okay, so we have taken I to be equal to alpha plus gamma from this triangle, R to be equal to gamma minus beta, as gamma equal to R plus beta from this triangle, and we have applied Snell's law. Sin A upon sin R equal to 1 mu 2, that is equal to mu 2 upon mu 1. Since in the assumptions we have taken angles to be small, so I and R are small, so instead of sin I we wrote I and sin R. So I upon R, that will be equal to mu 2 upon mu 1, and then mu 1 I will be equal to mu 2 R. Substituting the value of I and R, we get mu 1 alpha plus gamma, that should be equal to mu 2 gamma minus beta. Okay, we place the value. Now the angles were taken small, alpha, beta and gamma, they are also small. So instead of alpha, beta and gamma, we wrote, instead of alpha, tan alpha, beta and gamma, tan gamma. Because we need the horizontal values. Okay, we need the values along x-axis, I must say. Okay, because we need to make a connection between u, v, r equal to 2. Okay, that's why we are taking tan down. So we will place the value, then what we have going to get. Let's see. Okay, mu1. Tan alpha from the triangle, that is nm upon, okay, nm upon OM. Okay, tan alpha plus tan gamma, that is nm upon mc, nm upon mc. Okay, that is mu2 tan gamma as usual, nm upon mc minus tan beta this one. So it is nm upon mi. Okay, nm can be cancelled from both sides, and the rest of the values that we will place with the dimensions. So I write the values separately for you. Okay, OM, MC and MI. What is OM? OM is the object distance, O to M. So left hand side minus C. MC with the radius of curvature, right hand side plus R. And MI with the image distance, so right hand side plus E. We place the value like this. Okay. Now we substitute the main equation. So it will be like mu1, 1 upon OM, 1 upon minus U, okay, plus 1 upon MC plus 1 upon R, that is mu2, 1 upon MC, 1 upon R minus 1 upon MI. What is MI? V. Okay. Now if we rearrange this, okay, what we are going to get, we rearrange this, remove this. If we arrange this, we will get minus mu1 upon u plus mu1 upon R equal to mu2 upon R minus mu2 upon B. Okay. So we separate it. We take this side, mu2 upon B, that is mu2 upon B minus mu1 upon u, that is mu2 upon R minus mu1 upon R. Or I will write like mu2 upon B minus mu1 object distance, image distance, and the radius of curvature for a spherical surface. Okay, that same relation can be obtained for virtual case also. Okay, and for concave surface also. Okay, so the same relation can also be obtained. Okay. Students, now we are going to set up Lenz-Baker formula. Okay, the Lenz-Baker formula, okay, gives a relationship between the focal length, refractive index of the inner medium, okay, and the outer medium, the medium in which the lens is placed, and the medium, okay, of the refractive index of the medium of lens, and the radius of curvature of both sides of a lens. So for doing this, we will use the previous formula that we have derived, mu2 upon v minus mu1 upon u equal to mu2 minus mu1 upon r. So this is a convex lens that we are considering. Okay, a point object is kept on the principal axis. Some assumptions are there. Object should be point object. The lens should be thin. As usual, the rays should be paraxial. It should not be marginal rays. Okay. So the object is kept at a point object at a distance u. From the first surface, refraction takes place. If the second surface is not there, the image forms at I dash at a distance b dash. If the second surface is there, then the image will be forming at I, okay, at a distance b. R1 and R2 be the radius of curvature of the first side and second side respectively. Okay. Now, what we have to do? We need to make a connection. So we will use the previous formula. Okay, we will apply for the whole surface. So where we have initially we will apply for the first face, then we will apply for the second face. Okay, and in this case we will consider one point that for the second surface, the image which is formed by the first surface, that will work like a object. Okay, so we have the formula that is mu2 upon v minus mu1 upon u. Okay, equal to mu2 minus mu1 upon r. Okay, that we apply for the face, first face, first surface. First surface is A, B, C. Okay, so if we apply for the first surface A, B, C, what we are going to get? This refractive index is mu1, inner medium mu2, and outer is mu2. That is mu1. Okay, so we will write like this: mu2. Second, image distance. Image is forming at b dash upon b dash minus mu1 upon u. That is mu2 minus mu1. And for the first surface, the radius is r1. So r1. Question number 1. Now we apply for the second surface. That is A, B, C. Okay. Now for the second surface, the image formed by the first surface, that will act like an object. Okay. So the formula, basic formula is mu2 over v. mu2 is the second medium, but it's going from mu2 to mu1. So instead of mu2, we will write mu1. V is the image distance. For the second surface, V is the image. So we write V. Okay, first medium is mu2. Okay, and the object distance. For the second surface, V dash is the image distance, sorry, object distance. Because I dash is the object for the second surface. So I must get down this. And mu2 minus mu1. Refractive index of the second medium minus refractive index of the first medium. Second medium is mu1, first medium is mu2. So it will be mu1 minus mu2 upon radius of curvature. Radius of curvature of the second phase is at r2. Question number 2. Now what we have to do? We have two equations, 1 and 2. What best we can do? From them, we can simply add. Okay, we can simply add because this term will be cancelled. So adding 1 and 2, what we get? mu2 upon v dash, mu2 upon v dash, plus minus cancel. So I will write down directly minus mu1 over u plus mu1 over v. That should be equal to mu2 minus mu1 over r1 plus mu1 minus mu2 over r2. We got this. Okay. Now we will write like this: mu1 common. Okay. If we write mu1 common, then it will be mu2 upon mu1, you can write on 1 mu2 minus 1 upon r1 minus 1 upon r2. Okay, so this formula is known as Lenz-Maker formula. It gives a relation between focal length, refractive index, okay, of a medium with respect to outer medium, refractive index of the material medium of the lens with respect to outer medium, and radius of curvature, radii of curvature of the lens. Okay, now then interesting fact that we are going to discuss. Nature of the lens can be changed, meaning thereby can a convex lens behave like a concave lens or a concave lens behave like a convex lens, okay, without grinding, without changing its shape. Is it possible? Yes, it is possible. Okay, see that how it's possible with the type of Lenz-Maker formula I will describe. Okay, this is a convex lens. The material medium is made of glass. Refractive index of glass is taken mu g. Okay, and it is kept in the medium whose refractive index is mu l. Okay, so the focal length that can be written with the Lenz-Maker formula like this. Okay, if three cases we consider, okay, then all your problems will be solved. Okay, all three cases that I am going to explain. First case, if a mu g equal to a mu l, then what will happen? 1 upon fl will be 0. That means power of lens will be 0. Okay, so if you dip the lens in the liquid, it will disappear because the power is coming 0. Second case, okay, if a mu g is less than a mu l, means you are placing the lens in the medium whose refractive index is more. Okay, that means the refractive index of the medium is more with respect to the refractive index of the material of lens. Then what will happen? A mu g is less, a mu l is greater. That means you are dividing by a greater quantity and subtracting 1. Then what will happen? 1 upon fl directly and right now, it will be negative. Okay, it was a convex lens. Now 1 upon fl is coming negative. That is, the power is negative or focal length is coming negative. Focal length is negative or power is negative. That is, okay, of concave lens. So nature is changing. So it will behave like concave lens. So when you dip the lens in a solution whose refractive index is more, then if you dip a convex lens, it will behave like a concave lens. If you dip a concave lens, it will behave like a convex lens. Third case, what will happen if a mu g, okay, is greater than a mu l? Okay, then greater than a mu l, then subtracting, okay, 1 from this ratio, then the ratio will be coming positive. Okay, then 1 upon fl will be positive. What best we can see? Nature is same. That means convex will remain convex and concave will remain concave. Okay, so with the help of Lenz-Maker formula, we can show this. And these type of numericals are frequently asked in the board examinations. Okay, so you must prepare all those questions which are given in NCERT exercise and previously asked in the board examinations.